Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now September 4th of 2023, and given that we all are very well aware about Disney's struggles on all fronts, whether it be Disney Plus, their movies that have been running into box office failures one after the other, and let's not forget about their merchandise, the Disney parks, as well as the stocks hitting an all-time low of 9 years. And given that Bob Iger and the Disney board are always in a constant shakeup, it doesn't really help any kind of issues at hand. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. And let's get right into exactly what's going on with Disney right now in the financial realm. Now, we know that Bob Iger and his cost containment plan is currently in the second phase right now. We already talked about this. This involves up-and-coming, looming firings for the Marvel Studios, for Lucasfilm, for just Disney in general, to kind of lower the amount of employees employed with Disney to reduce spending, and that's basically the Disney purge that is going to go into effect by the first quarter of 2024. But there's a third phase of Bob Iger's cost containment plan, which, by the way, will be fully addressed by Iger in the next couple of months. But there's a lot of havoc happening right now, a lot of chaos happening over at Disney because of all the financial issues related to their movies, their TV shows, and more. Let's dive into this. Now, what's interesting is that Bob Iger always likes to make it seem like Disney is doing perfectly fine, regardless of what he calls the downward trend, right? The downshift, to be specific. However, with Disney still having issues to this day with their films, shows, and parks, plus their stocks hitting an all-time low, one significant development has to do with their current Disney lockdown actually getting even worse for Bob Iger and multiple franchises. The cost containment plan by Bob Iger just got even more serious, with their budgeting restrictions as, of course, getting more serious, and as this comes after their stocks not showing any kind of resolution or a change in pattern in the near future for 2023. Iger is set to initiate and greenlight a third phase for the cost containment plan that will create even tighter budgets and restrictions for everything Marvel, Star Wars, and their planned Disney live-action remakes and reboots. Iger is set to address these, of course, during their last earnings call for this year, and that these new restrictions will go into effect by January of 2024. This involves a 25% cutback on all budgets for upcoming movies and TV shows. Disney will also be drastically dialing back on their marketing of all their projects that will end up counterproductive, as they won't be promoting their new content properly as well. Not just that, but a massive Disney Plus purge is about to take place by the second quarter of next year by removing tons of content that will be upping rates at the same exact time for Disney Plus for their plans, and how that's set to wreak havoc on their business models all around. Now guys, let me stop here. Does that make any sense to you? The fact that Bob Iger has that mindset of upping rates for their Disney Plus plans, but at the same exact time removing tons of content from that said service. Now, they are already doing this on a minor level this year. They're already purging content, removing, specific movies and shows slowly but surely. But next year is going to be an even more serious deal for Disney, because this is going to be their way of really dialing back on usage of the service and how much they have to pay to essentially maintain Disney Plus as a business model. Now, look, I've said this many times. I don't feel that Disney Plus is going to be the same as it is today 3 years from now. I really just don't see it. I would even beg to differ that it may very well get sold off, or Bob Iger may very well turn it into something quite drastically different. He has commented on this before in the past. He's like, there's no possibility that we would ever sell Disney Plus unless it hit, a specific low for us, and so far this downshift is of no concern. And he keeps saying that, right? Like, this downshift is not a concern to them. This downward trend, if you will, is nothing in the long term. They see it as a temporary problem. And that's why he is apparently not quote-unquote concerned. And he has said this way too many times, and it is a perfect lie to just convince the general public that Disney is in a better position than they really are. That's what he's trying to make you think, that they are in a better position than what they really are in right now. So I think at the end of the day, what they are really trying to do is that they're trying to convince, and I mentioned this yesterday, they are trying to convince the general public, the people that don't go on the internet, that don't do their research, that don't dive into the big details about what's going on with Disney, and they bank on those people taking Bob Iger's word. And it works. It most certainly works to a degree, right? Now, moving onwards, in addition to this, additionally, Disney is also looking to purge more Star Wars Lucasfilm projects. This will involve the cancellation of more Star Wars TV shows and films. One film facing cancellation now is Dawn of the Jedi by Indy 5 director James Mangold, that Disney has already been discussing axing this project altogether to reduce spending on the Star Wars brand, as this film was aimed to hold a $350 million budget. Quite higher than Indy 5's budget of $300 million from Kathleen Kennedy and Mangold. This financial crisis for Disney is set to only worsen throughout next year as well. Again, I can't stress this enough, guys. Disney is in very bad shape. It may seem like they're not, but they really are. That stock hitting the all-time low of 9 years is a very big concern. In fact, I'm surprised a lot of shareholders have not, taken legal action or anything like that, but we know that there's a lot of bigger situations looming for them. We have the Marvels, we have Snow White 2024, we have Disney Plus removing content while upping rates throughout next year, not just for the beginning but also the later half. And to top it all off, they are still going to up their rates of their Disney parks throughout next year into 2025 without really adding anything of value. I mean, look, they are bulldozing the Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel. In fact, I would not be too surprised that they're upping rates because of that, because that takes a lot of money to do that. That's going to be a big job for, construction crews and taking that down and bulldozing it. There have been conversations of rebuilding it into a Star Wars regular themed hotel, but they are in such bad shape right now that those conversations fell flat and actually hit a brick wall quite fast. It escalated quickly. It really went nowhere. It was a brief discussion, and they wanted to turn it into a regular themed hotel, like a normal hotel. Like a hotel in Vegas, like the Luxor. Imagine something like that, but for Star Wars, except making it themed instead of an experience. That's what they should have done, by the way, right from the very start, right from the get-go. But anyway, I would like to hear what your thoughts are on this entire scenario for Disney and what Bob Iger is going through along with the board of directors. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again. No.